All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Roll call, Mr. Lombard.
Alm.
Yes.
Odie. Klatt. Saxer. Schrader.
Yes.
All right, next, that takes us to the approval of the agenda. Superintendent Larson.
Madam Chair, I just want to make one adjustment to the proposed agenda. Under personnel, item number 7, the salary amount is $24,546 for that rec to hire. That's a change from $24,034 as initially proposed. So that would be the one item that I would note or adjustment.
Thank you. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second. There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. No conflict of interest disclosure or waiver request tonight, which takes us to the approval of the minutes from November 13th and November 27th. If there are no additions, corrections, or deletions, I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented tonight.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. No community input tonight. That takes us to financial items, bills and claims. Mr. Lombard.
Okay. I'd entertain any questions that you people would have. I had a few items noted on page 2. I checked to the Brandon Valley Food Service. That's just a clearing of the credit card payments for the first 6 months of the year, or 5 months, $194,000. On page 4, at the top, First National Bank, $1,686,000 of bond payments. The first one is the Fred Assam / high school edition payment. That was the original $23 million bond issue that we had. Second one is the GO bonds for the intermediate school. And the third one is the Robert Bennis GO bonds, interest only there. Total of $2,351,000, of which $1.7 million is the debt service there. So the advance payments is broken down of $3,665, $50,000 of pay vouchers, majority of substitute teaching, and $110,000 of food service bills.
Any questions for Mr. Lombard on the bills and claims tonight? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Financial report, Mr. Lombard.
Okay, the cash report for the month of November showed $2.4 million to start, $8,551,000 of receipts, $3.3 million of disbursements, left $7,689,000 at the end of the month of November. You'll notice in the body of the cash report there was some paybacks of temporary interfund transfers, $1,561,000 from the capital outlay fund back into the general fund, zeroing out any amounts owed by the capital outlay, and then $667,000 from special ed back to the general fund. There's still $135,000 that the special ed fund will owe the general fund at the end of November. The balances at the end of November, $5.9 million in the general fund, $267,000 in the capital outlay fund, $341,000 in the pension fund, and $1.1 million in the bond fund. $8,551,000 of receipts for the month of November. Just under $7 million of that was the first half of the tax draw coming in. Big numbers in November and December. Investment report of $1 million. Payroll and benefits summary showed total payroll of $2,067,000. This month we had our salary enhancement payment of $310,000 to all the employees of the Brandon Valley School District. So the regular payroll is $1,757,000 with the $310,000 that we've negotiated in there. The financial statements through November, 42% of the fiscal year completed. You can see the revenue numbers are a little higher than they were last year in each of the funds. Reason being for the tax draw coming in November came in a little higher than it was last year. Should even out when we get through December, pretty close to that. The expenditure report in the general fund shows 42.34% expended, so right on the fiscal year tracking versus 42.7% last year. Capital outlay fund 62% versus 79% last year. Special education fund 46.7 versus 46.9% last year. Pension fund is expended. Debt service fund is just 28%. She'll jump after this month. Food service shows a loss of $16,000 through the month of November versus $55,000 last year at the same time. Trust and agency fund has $150,000 of amounts held for others. And lastly, there's a middle school office addition project. Pretty much the final numbers on that, a budget of $1.78 million, $1,780,000, expended $1,701,000. That's all I had.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the financial report for Mr. Lundberg this evening? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented tonight.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Lundberg. That takes us to administration reports. Administrative Center, Superintendent Larson.
I'll actually defer on the first report to Business Manager Lundberg. The 16-17 cost per ADM comparison report, which demonstrates the efficiency of a school district, is on the board, and I would allow him to comment on that.
Okay, just real quickly, we see this every year. The report shows that we're ranked 145th out of 150 school districts, same ranking as we had last year. $7,747 per student that we spent. In 16-17, these are for last year's data. That's an increase of $562 per student from the previous year due to the big increase in funding with the half-cent sales tax, a total of $2.2 million. And this is efficiency, if you want to look at it that way. Some don't look at it, but I really do look at it that way. It shows the about as fair a comparison as you possibly can get with the per pupil spending. Quite frankly, I think you as a board should be very proud of that, 145th out of 150. Yet your ranking in the teacher salary is probably the third highest in the state, average teacher salary. So you're 145th out of 150 in the spending total, but your salary and average teacher salary is the third highest ranking in the state of South Dakota. So that's something to be very, very proud of, in my opinion. The state average is $9,256, which we are $1,500 below that. And then I just jotted down, as you've heard me say, what are the differences? And, because we're on a per pupil funding formula, what are the differences? It's very simply opt-outs in federal revenue. I think it's over 2/3 of the school districts in the state of South Dakota have opted out of the general fund formula. You have not. That's all I had noted on there, unless anybody had any questions on it.
I'm just curious, what's the extra digit on the total expenditures for Yankton?
I'm sorry?
What's the extra digit on the total expenditures for Yankton? There's one extra digit. Do you know? Because they don't spend 516 million. I mean, 100 million.
I'm not even sure what that would be. 16 million, I think the extra digit is a 5. 16,590,000 probably.
Any other questions or comments? Again, thank you very much, Business Manager Lundberg, for keeping us efficient in everything we do, and you guys need to take some of the credit for that too, so thank you. Superintendent's report.
Yes, so Madam Chair, I just want to note, and Business Manager Lundberg previously presented the construction project final costs. I would note that there is a one pay app that will still come in on that $1,700,000 number for about $16,000 that Beckenhofer still has to submit. So the $1,700,000 is the final number, but next month you'll still see one pay app. So note that the final pay app is still on its way. Would also note that have completed our survey of our middle school staff, asking how they would utilize and what they would utilize for strategies with their one-to-one quasi-initiative that we're investigating. So we're taking staff feedback to make certain that we get them the very best resource and device possible in the event that that's the direction that we want to go. Would note that with strategic planning, all of our focus groups are in the process of meeting. Would thank Principal Schleckaway for allowing me the opportunity to meet with the high school student council last week. Very informative as we conducted some opportunities for growth, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities for growth, and engage in some dialogue with our high school students on areas in which we can improve. Met with our parent focus group, approximately 22 of our parents representing every individual building last month, and in the near coming future, tomorrow actually, we will have our public meeting. We invite any and all patrons to the community room tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Again, it is Tuesday, December 12th, 5:30 p.m. for anyone interested in engaging in some of those strategic planning conversations tomorrow. Also want to provide an update on the Brandon Valley Stadium, our artificial turf tentative timeline. Previously, our board has agreed and approved the contract with our engineering firm. And then I just want to give you a timeline on where exactly that project is at. We're currently in the project design and coordination planning phase. We will advertise for bids in mid to late January. We will open bids in what I would call early February, and then ultimately bring a bid for formal board approval at the first February meeting is our tentative timeline, with construction to begin in late May. And when I say late May, I mean following the completion of the track season and the state track meet. And then the construction completion date is ultimately mid-August. So that's just a heads up on the timeline of that project. An item that I also want to make you aware of is that our current Title I programming is facing some significant challenges. Available funding is what I would speak to specifically. The reduction of available funding. We've been utilizing carryover funds in the previous years. Following this year, those carryover funds will be depleted. So ultimately what we are facing is a reduction in staff in accordance to the negotiated agreement. Director Babb informed the Title I tutors of the situation, extended the professional courtesy to them prior to this meeting so that they could be made aware in person. And then ultimately in the beginning of January, we'll begin our RIF process in accordance to the negotiated agreement. Calendar notes. Friday, December 22nd, we get out 2 hours early, and we will have no school Monday, December 25th through January 2nd. We bring all of our students back on January 3rd. School resumes. Also want to inform the board that good news presentations will begin. Second meeting of the month. The first group presenting will be the Brandon Valley High School, and our Special Services Department are coordinating on that, and look forward to that presentation on an exceptional program and project we've got going on at the high school, incorporating our special services as well. So with that, I would let you know that next year's calendar is in development. We'll have an initial presentation for you at our next meeting, and then potential adoption there in the end of January. Get that out to our parents so they're able to plan for the 18-19 school year. That is all I have this evening. Would certainly entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions for Superintendent Larson? Thank you very much. Mr. Lundberg, anything additional tonight? Okay, that takes us to the high school. Dr. Talcott?
Special services, Mr. Babb. Okay. Elementaries, Ms. Foster, Mrs. Hoskamp, Mr. Hort, Mrs. Palmer. Anyone? No? Okay. Ms. Stotero, anything tonight from? Okay. Mr. Henschel?
Mr. Marcel? Well, okay. Thank you very much. That takes us to board policy, which there is none. General business, items number 1 through 4. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented tonight.
Move to approve general business items 1 through 4.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Personnel items 1 through 8, with the information that Superintendent Larson gave us earlier, I'd entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
Move to approve personnel items 1 through 8.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. There's one item for information only there for you. There are a list of building permits there for your review, and there's one thank you note to the Board of Education from a staff member if you're interested in reading that. That takes us to formal board reports. Does anyone have one that they would like to present tonight?
Sure. The governor gave his annual budget address on December 5th. Revenues in South Dakota are much lower than anticipated, and he has budgeted no increase for public education for the coming year. Of course, that's up to the whole legislative process, so we at Brandon Valley, and I'm certain, I'm echoing every school district in South Dakota, would hope that our legislators step up and recognize the monumental importance of a high-quality public education, and we need funding to be able to provide that to the children. So get ready for legislative coffees, etc., and maybe we need to be there and help them recognize the importance. And I think it helps when the public and when administrators and teachers are there to demonstrate how important it is. We have to remember that the kids are our future, and we have to do what's best for them.
Thank you very much. Any other formal reports tonight? All right, hearing none, that takes us to the end of our scheduled meeting. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone. See you in 2018.